Welcome back to The Refined Lad. For those of you who are just now seeing this, it is Christmas Eve currently, or the 6th night of Hanukkah if you celebrate.
Oh, it was beautiful. I could hardly wait to try it out.
As of right now, I've been looking at going back to school for business and expanding on my sports therapy certification that I currently have, because my ultimate goal is to go into sports medicine, sports therapy using holistic alternatives. Now that you guys are up to date, what I want to discuss with you today is a very important topic, and I don't feel like it gets talked about enough. And that topic specifically has to deal with our New Year's resolutions coming up. I thought it was very key for me to share the type of psychological process that we all go through when we are trying to kick a bad habit. So I'm dedicating this video specifically for kicking bad habits and rewiring our brain to have positive reinforcement while creating a positive reward system. Now, a lot of the content that I will be sharing with you today is from the book The Power of Habit. The author uses a lot of research, a lot of analytical data and evidence, statistics to share what it looks like when we have certain obstacles that we have to overcome, as well as societal indications of specific negative feedback loops. And so Charles, the author, identified a few things when we are looking at rewiring and reframing the brain. And we talk about this multiple times because it just isn't addressed enough. Number one is that we have a routine that we do each time this happens. So number one is to identify that routine. What are the emotions that I am consistently going through in this routine? And when I say routine, it could be as simple as brushing your teeth. But for the concept of this video, I'm talking about negative things. So maybe you have a routine of when you are stressed, you tend to eat more as a result of that stress, right? The cortisol levels are rising, and so you feel this need, you feel this hunger, you feel this craving that the only source of comfort that you are going to have is by eating a lot. This would be considered a routine. Number two is that Charles addresses the fact that we have to try out different reward systems. So he uses, I believe, for example, somebody who is a smoker. If I am smoking and nicotine is the positive feedback, positive feedback that I think that I'm receiving, that is comforting me and causing these feelings of calmness, but in reality it does the complete opposite. What can I do to substitute that negative reward system? And he uses coffee. So we all know caffeine has addiction type of behaviors, right? Coffee, we crave it. Coffee can be very addictive. Caffeine is incredibly addictive. But if you were to substitute how harmful nicotine is in comparison to caffeine, I think we would see that nicotine is more harmful in the long run. So we have to find this positive substitute for this negative reward that we are currently dealing with if we are to reframe these habits. And the issue with us in human psychology is that the reward is what makes the happening, right? The whole routine so worth it. The reward is the pinnacle of success that we desire, that we want, that we crave. We see this a lot with sex in particular. We want something, we go after it, we crave it, and it may not be good for us, but we still end up doing it anyways. Sex with random people. Sex with somebody we just met, because we are acting on these indicators, this human nature. Number three is that we have to single out the cue. So another example that Charles uses in the book is that he used to go to a lounge or a cafeteria and he would have a cookie. And he noticed that he would have a cookie in this lobby when everybody else was socializing. So once he found out what the cue was, he was able to single out different types of emotions, different types of feelings. He was able to do a full-on reflection, and I think he uses 5 points that I'm not going to go into today, but basically, where am I? What am I doing? How do I feel? Very self-reflective thoughts to figure out if this bad habit is controlling me, let me see what the routine is and how I can prevent this from happening. And what he ends up doing is, rather than getting a cookie, he realizes that he can socialize with those people. So that 10 minutes or whatever he was usually in the lounge, he would be out socializing with people in the lobby. And that, in effect, would prevent him from eating multiple cookies if he was trying to curb a bad habit. The other thing that we have to ask ourselves is, what is causing us to become so dependent on this? Me, for example, I tend to have a sweet tooth. My lifestyle, I try to eat very organic. I try to eat healthy. I eat a lot of meats. I eat a lot of rice. I eat a lot of vegetables and fruits. But we're around Christmas time right now, so I want multiple Christmas cookies. And I don't believe in the white sugar that is used. Refined sugar is absolute poisonous to our bodies. It's absolute poison to our bodies. But because of the nostalgia, I feel like I need it, right? So my routine every Christmas or even Thanksgiving, right? We all want to gorge ourselves. You know, our aunt makes her famous apple pie. Our grandma makes her favorite creme brulee, or whatever exotic dish that your family might be making. And you're like, well, it's Thanksgiving. I told myself I wouldn't eat this, but I can't do this to grandma, you know? But one of the key indicators that he found out of all those 5 things that we're feeling or reflecting on, right, is the emotional state. Because that emotional state is what drives us. The feeling of nostalgia for me to be able to have Christmas cookies around this time outweighs my better judgment of saying, I gotta keep a cap on not eating so much refined sugar because I know how I feel afterwards. Me personally, I feel sluggish. I feel unmotivated. But the nostalgia, right? The good feelings. It's wintertime, snow's falling, it's Christmas. Santa's supposed to come down the chimney and drop off presents. For men in particular, those of us who have had a bad breakup, those of us who have had a job loss, what do we end up doing as a result of that? So before we close off, the other options that we do have, if we want to get out of this negative feedback pattern, we can verbalize. A lot of people think it's woohoo, right? Positive affirmations. I'm going to show you guys in the next video how positive affirmations can become so critical to your life. But just because you don't see something doesn't mean it's not happening for you at this minute. Speak your goal into an existence. Even if you don't believe in the concept that you can create positive affirmations in yourself, we can all agree on the psychological benefits of verbalizing commands, verbalizing goals, because our brain learns to recognize those very things. And inevitably, we can train our reticular activating system to notice the little details that we're calling out. The other option is you guys can start as small as you want if you have to. I find the issue when people try to create new habits is they try to force themselves into something completely that is so foreign to them because they don't have enough awareness. This is a totally different environment than they are used to. And rather than warming up to it, they jump right in. And then they get burned out and they wonder why. Start small. The other option that I have for you guys that helped me so much is to change your inner dialogue. Change your inner dialogue. Instead of saying, I can never get this right. I can't do this. I'm useless. I'm worthless. I have bad luck. I have this. I'd rather have you say, I'm struggling right now because I'm learning still. I will be successful someday. I make my own luck. I am the master of my own fate. I control my environment and my surroundings. If this video helped you at all in reframing bad habits, go ahead, give me a like, comment any questions that you have, or just love to hear from you guys. Click the notification bell to get notifications of me publishing videos. And click the subscribe button. I look forward to seeing you guys all in the next video. And as always, stay frosty.